Well, AI-related companies notching market cap wins in the first half of the year. Amazon, the latest to reach a milestone, hitting $2 trillion in market cap for the first time. This all while Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA battling it out for the title of the most valuable company. Here with more on what may be in store next for these mega cap names, we want to bring in Tom Forte. He's Maxim Group's managing director and senior consumer internet analyst. It's great to talk to you here. So here we are set up for the second half of the year. We certainly have seen this massive run up once again. I mean, the story is very similar going back to 2023. It's all about a handful of tech names. Who do you think then, Tom, is best positioned at this point here for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, so I like Amazon. So at some point, when you think about artificial intelligence, it's been dominated today by chips. But at some point, the chips or picks and shovels are going to have to result in actual gold. And I think for Amazon, they're well positioned to exploit AI, not just at the cloud computing level with what they're doing with AWS, but what they're doing at the fulfillment center level to the extent that they can increase their automation and reduce their cost to serve. So I think Amazon's well positioned in the battle of the AI titans.
Tom, when you think about Amazon, you think about these key drivers, right? It's e-commerce, it's cloud, it's advertising. Also, though, the moves they're making in healthcare, Tom, I'm interested to get your take there. How excited do you think investors should be about that opportunity?
So when I think about Amazon hitting $2 trillion market cap, I think there's an opportunity that their healthcare initiatives can help them hit the $3 trillion mark. More likely, it'll be, as you pointed out, advertising, e-commerce, cloud computing growth. I think they're very early stage in their efforts, but I do think there's a potential, given that it's a huge total addressable market and maybe one that's potentially ripe for disruption. But it's something that I guess I'm taking a wait and see attitude to see how their healthcare efforts ultimately affect their top and bottom line and market cap.
Tom, Amazon able to reach this milestone at a time here, obviously, when they're under a tremendous amount of scrutiny from an antitrust perspective. I'm curious, not only for Amazon, but really what we're seeing from a number of those larger cap tech names. Should investors be viewing any sort of regulatory crackdown or any sort of regulatory criticism here as just noise?
I think investors are viewing it as noise, but I don't think they should view it as noise. If I do a compare and contrast, though, on companies that are being sued for antitrust, I think Amazon is better positioned than Apple to the extent that if Amazon were separated into three different companies, a first-party retail company, a third-party retail company, and a cloud computing company, you can make an argument that those three individual stocks are worth more than the collective whole today. I don't think for Apple the same can be held true, meaning if the company is charging too much of a fee on the App Store and has to lower its fee, I think that would be, wildly negative for the stock.
Tom, sticking with Apple, I mean, it's had, I'm just looking, nice run here, Tom, recently. I mean, you're still neutral. What do you need to see, Tom, to get off the sidelines? What do you need to see to move to a buy on Apple?
So if you look at Apple, it has had a really nice run. First, they announced a $100 billion buyback. Then they announced Apple Intelligence and all their strategies surrounding AI. The stock, though, is trading at north of a 30 times forward PE multiple. If they do as well with an AI-led upgrade cycle for iPhones, we're looking at 9-10% EPS growth next year. That's still a pretty high PEG ratio of, call it, 3. So I'd be more interested in the stock where the valuation more to my liking, either because the earnings growth is better than I expect or the near-term multiple is lower than it is today.
Tom, what do you think that demand is going to look like? Obviously, we've been reacting to the news that we had gotten out a few weeks ago when it comes to their AI initiatives. Is that going to be enough, do you think, to really spark some of that demand that the street's been trying to figure out what more specifically that's going to look like?
So I have become more optimistic in an AI-led recycle for Apple. The challenge, though, we did some analysis when we compared it against 5G. I don't think there's nearly as much pent-up demand for an AI-enabled smartphone as there was for a 5G one. In addition, you're looking at Europe and China with regulatory challenges for Apple. Europe's about 20% of Apple's sales. China's about 10%. So they're not going to be able to roll out Apple Intelligence in September in those markets as of today. So I think it's an upgrade cycle, but not as good as the 5G upgrade cycle.
All right, Tom Forte, always great to have you. Thanks so much for making the time to join us here today.
Thank you.